So TNC, they've got a really good draft to play with. I think the biggest issue for them is maybe the greed of a Pango support, but we've seen Tim's kind of overcome that anyway. It's not a major factor. Uh, they they have to watch their lanes here. Boom. You do not want to fall behind on Dreamosel Spectre. If they get a steady start and Dreamosel does build for a more aggressive Spectre, I think you can make stuff happen. There's also a lot of pressure here from Mikato to win out mid. The Wind Ranger needs to get a good timing on that Javelin to make that space out for their big core.
Absolutely. Because I imagine Boom Esports will probably want to lane FBZ up against the Viper this game. You really don't want the Spectre to be up against KP's Viper. That's going to be pretty rough. They are sending FBZ down bot anyway, however, so maybe just wanting him to deal with the Sven, but I don't know about that. Because the Spectre's not going to be able to get anything with KP around, surely.
No. It's a really difficult lane. I think TNC is going to be enjoying that. Perhaps Boom will switch it out. Down the line, I think what they're banking on is that both safe laners have a hard time. So they're banking that, yeah, we're going to sack Dream Assault's lane, but we're also going to make it really difficult for Gabby to get that initial farm. You run a very, very difficult kind of trade-off there in the fact that Gabby has so much faster jungle farming. Like you may have Dagger to go around the camps as Dreamcell, but that cleave is a lot more value. And if you get some stacks up here, which we know March will do at some point, there's a lot of value there for TNC in the jungle. That means Boom will have to keep track of that jungle as well. They've got to be on point at every single piece of control they can get out. They have to be able to contest some stacks as they come up.
Well, Boom, they're trying to be sneaky here, wrapping behind the side of TNC. Now March should spot out Dreamcell. Fortune's End is going to come out, and it looks like they are just going to be able to go back and get the bounty that they wanted, but they are going to lose bounties 3-1. They don't manage to get the other one at the top lane, so it was a nice play out of Boom Esports to force them to rotate back to the high ground. They do get a nice little advantage on those bounties early on. We'll see how they go in the laning stage, though, John, because, I mean, they are still running the Viper vs. Spectre. Now, it is going to be a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation to start things off, and it probably will remain that way through the laning stage. But I would still argue that TNC has the better tri-lane.
Yeah, I mean, you are only scared of the arrow combo, but if it doesn't land the Viper...
Copped it. They're just running at the side of TNC right now while they're weak, and March, he does go down. Heads up play from Boom Esports. They're just going to keep going now. That's the one thing, right? At level 1, they are much stronger. So it's definitely a great idea for them to do this and just keep running at the side of TNC. Try to get the advantage before the lane even starts.
I don't like this level 1 Nether Toxin coming out from KP. It's not going to zone these guys out. It's 2 range supports. They can walk out. If you go for the wave, it's going to shove in. And that's just makes it easier for Boom to get some good positioning there. So I think that really came down to the fact that they saw the Nether Toxin come out. They knew they wouldn't cop poison attack stacks. They could trade favorably. And that's something that forces TNC to break their trial lane up. We'll see how far Boom pushes this, but they really do just want to zone that Viper out. KP might be regretting that Nether Toxin 1 now.
Yeah, I don't agree with that pickup either, John. It's definitely a weird one to go for. I think the idea may have been they push out the lane with the Nether Toxin and get their level 2s first and try to be aggressive that way, but well, now they've just given up on the tri lane altogether. And of course, Boom Esports want to continue this tri lane with the Bane Mirana to try and really assert some dominance in this top lane. March just gave up altogether, went down to the bot lane to go up against FBZ with Gabby. But the Tide's not going to really care.
No.
Like, FBZ should be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2-on-1 lane, but Tide doesn't really care. I mean, as you mentioned, he just goes up, anchor smash off to get some creeps, gets his last hits. March will not have enough damage in the tank to really burst him down. And even if you throw the stun out, now that you've got 2 levels in Kraken, he's going to proc it just the spell. So you've got to watch your spacing there. I think you accept that this is just going to be a farming lane for Gabby. March at some point, if he gets good stacks in the jungle, you're fine with that. I think the biggest issue there is for both sides, their supports are tied up. So mid lane, Armel and Mikato, we are seeing Mikato pull ahead just a bit. You're not seeing the complete dominance you tend to see from a Kunkka. The 4-minute bounce runes are going to be important considering how low these heroes are. Mikado's just got to watch his spacing a bit, but he's really juking Armel out quite nicely here.
No, I do agree with that. Makoto's doing a fantastic job so far. Mel obviously wanting to have more points in the Tidebringer before he can really dominate this lane, but looks like Makoto does have it completely under control for now. He'll already force Armel to just TP back with the X and try to get a reset for himself. That's going to be the one positive for Armel, is even if you do get him very, very low like that, he can always just TP away every minute or so and be back with full HP and full mana. But Makoto is going to try and give it back to Armel every time he does come back into the lane. Then again, you've got double braces on the Conker now, John. It's going to be very, very hard to actually get through the HP pool of Armel.
Yeah, he's getting really tanky. As we approach the 4-minute mark, I think this is going to be much more important for Mikado. He does have the bottle up first. You don't quite have your supports in a good spot, although I suppose Hyde is near the top rune. That could help out the cause. No one really scouting down bot. It's going to be March making a long walk down to ensure they find it, and it's a lucky regen rune for Mikado.
Very nice. It's the best rune you could ask for apart from a DD in that mid lane. The DD wouldn't really help Makoto too much up against Armel because he is too tanky anyway, so the regen's just going to be way more effective. Makoto going to go at it with Armel. Armel trying to fight back, but Makoto knows this is all free harassment, as he is going to be able to heal up however he wants, whenever he needs to. KB, meanwhile, John, in the Radiant Triangle, he's left Tim's up top lane by himself.
This is an awkward spot. Like, Tim's is still at level 2, and you're seeing the effect of that swash cooldown. Kesku can just run up. He can keep getting the brain saps off. He can maybe set up for a nightmare play if Hyde's around. They're camping these 5-minute runes quite nicely as well. Might be able to find 3 for 1 here.
Downey going to be there to Gabby. Still going to be... no, it might be a 3-1. Yeah, you're right. Boom Esports, they managed to get it. Another 3-1. So TNC only getting 2 bounty runes thus far at the 5-minute mark, with Boom getting 6. I'm really not sure about this Viper jungle. Like,
yeah,
you've left Dreamer Soul all alone up at that top lane, and we discussed for minutes how the Viper was going to dominate the Spectre, and Dreamer Soul suddenly got a free lane all to himself.
Yeah, and KP, he did go for level 2 Nether Toxin, so this jungling process is faster, but you do lose that lane dominance. And the biggest worry here is you're taking jungle space away from Gabby. So these stacks built up by March, which we're supposed to go to the Sven, got to split that now with your offlaner as well, which might not be good news. And down mid, Armel.
He's forced to pop the boat. They won't be able to kill him off, but they do at least get the ulti out of him, so they know he won't go for a gank for another minute or so. And March is actually going to take over the mid lane while Armel does leave for a bit. And now Armel's jungling. Everyone's just jungling here on the side of TNC. This is
yeah,
not used to this jump.
It's the safer play. I think this enables Tims to find some EXP. So you are getting your Pango up to a certain point. You are kind of shafting your Viper hard here though for that. And Boom, they understand this. They've got the smoke. You know, it's the Bane Mirana. They can make these rotations.
That they are. They don't go down to the bot lane. They'll ignore Gabby for now and maybe have a search through the jungle. Getting some nice deep wards off, and oh, there's your Nightmare. There's your arrow, and it looks like Gabby might be in a spot of danger here if they do have the Ravage. They will commit every single time if it does mean Gabby dies. It's a very, very important pick off there for Boom Esports, and well, they've got a 2k net worth lead now, John. It's 0-2 with a 3k net worth lead, in fact, now for Boom. TNC, this... I guess we've got to wait it out and see what their strategy is with all this jungling. Whether it's going to pay off or not. Because it has been a very long time since I've seen something like this. But it doesn't look like it so far.
No, I think that they're going for a really delayed power spike here, so some combos that can come out with this max Nether Toxin build. Stun into the Nether Toxin makes it really potent. X into the Nether Toxin with Torrent Boat. And you're talking about pretty dead heroes, although KP's just not getting too much space. He is level 6 now.
Armel missed the Torrent top lane, John Dreamer, so he has a Midas up. At 7.5 minutes, he just has a Midas.
Yeah, and he actually didn't go all in. He was diverting towards the drums as well. So it's slightly late and oh.
KB going to go
Oh,
down
wow.
to Makoto now. Well, John, they've got a lane to themselves. Of course they're going to have the advantage. Mel's going to come in with an X boat and might be able to get Makoto here, and does. So a nice little trade there. Makoto, I don't think he's going to be that upset about it. He just got a solo kill on his own. All the XP and gold went to him. He's already got the Javelin up, which means he can basically kill anyone but Mel. Again, we'll wait and see what TNC's up to.
Yeah, well, they're going to lose some map space soon, Mike. Bot tier 1 just about gone. They're not in a position to trade any other tier 1 yet from TNC. So that's the bot jungle slightly opened up a little bit more for Boom. They can keep track of that jungle movement out. TNC, we're at the point where your Sven would like to jungle. So these stacks will, well, one stack will go the way of Gabby, and perhaps your Sven starts to build up. I like seeing that Armel's ready to go around the map, though. With the X combination, you can make stuff happen. They are looking up top, but it's just 2 heroes.
It is. They're going to try for Hyde. Torrent connects, he'll go in for the X now, and Hyde will die on the Mirana. Tries to leap away, but Armel does have the control with the X. They're going to try and start forcing in this tier 1 top tower, as they already have lost their bottom tier 1. But everything is just delayed here from TNC. Even that Mirana kill, like, it's a nice kill to pick up, but I don't think Hyde really cares too much.
No, definitely not.
Look at the top 3 net worth. They're just all Boom Esports with a Spectre draft up.
Yeah, and it's all evenly distributed as well. So it's not like one core is being sacrificed for this farm. Dreamocel's just being highly efficient now in the jungle with the Midas. They are rushing a Blink on FBZ as well. So Boom's going for this kind of aggressive tide play to defend the Spectre. I like what I'm seeing. There are some nice forward wards now. Tim's is trying to plant, but it is immediately spotted out. They do trade the tier 1 top, but it's pretty much a dead lane with the Spectre out. I think you're still happy with finding that gold with no contestation. You do worry about these timings starting to line up for Boom. You have some pretty good farm on Armel. He does have the urn up. They're going to have to find some kills to get charges up in that Punka.
Be wary as well. Like, you've got the Fiend's Grip on Kezcute, which means they do want to go for a kill very, very soon on Boom Esports. As well as that, they also have the Ravage and they have the Haunt up. They are just lacking mana. I'm very sure Boom Esports will smoke up soon into TNC and try to get at least 1 kill for themselves. FBZ, he just goes straight Blink. I mean, it's been such a long time since I've seen a Blink rush on a Tidehunter, John. You never see it anymore. But I don't blame him, because they know how far ahead they are. It's just, he's going to be able to abuse the Blink Ravage so easily now.
Yeah, it's what you want here. It's to buy your Spectre space. I love this play as well. Look, Hyde and Kezcute are hunting.
Makoto's just going to TP out. TNC cannot get the kill at the bot lane, and in the Radiant Triangle, Gabby's gone. On to the next. KP try to come in to help out, but he's also dead.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that was initially just the. That was just initially the Bane and Mirana, by the way. You know, they just popped the Haunt. FBZ just came in from mid. They still have Ravage. TNC have to be a bit cautious. You know, we were looking for lane domination with a Viper. It's much more passive than down mid.
They're going more. FBZ, he still has the Ravage, so he wants to go. Commits the Ravage, connecting onto 3. That'll be Tim's gone. And now March, he is surrounded. He does get the false promise, but there is no way he survives through this much damage. They Nightmare him up for a second. Now the boats are coming from Armel, but March is gone. KP gonna come in now with the Viper Strike. Gabby trying to fight back. They might get FBZ here, and they will, but the rest of Boom, they're gonna try and go for a run. They'll leap away on Hyde. Makoto will just run away, and it looks like they will be fine. They lose FBZ, but that's gonna be it. Still a great trade out for Boom Esports.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 supports for your off lane, but you force all TNC's cores to come in. That's the God Strength for Gabby being popped. He does end up being close enough to some stacks, well, not stacks, but close enough to some camps to clear some out. Boom, though, they maintain that 3k lead. They're in a really good spot. It's not like they're completely ahead in their core, so it's a very small gap. Say Armel's just 100 behind FBZ. Dreamocel's the only one to break at least 1k more than the nearest TNC hero, but he does have Midas, so you do kind of expect that from the spec. The important thing now for Boom is to play around his timing. They've been lining it up with these haunt plays really well. I think you do want your two supports to be a bit more aggressive though. Maintain that vision on jungle and keep punishing, although Mikado.
Gonna hit for the torrent and the swashbuckle, and Tim's gonna try and go for that rolling thunder and does connect in time. Makoto wants to go for a run, but a nice jump in from Tim's and the rest of TNC do manage to get the kill. That'll be a fair bit of golden XP going their way, and it also allows Gabby the space to keep farming up on that Sven, as they do now rush for that T1 mid tower. Mel's going to join. They have the boat, but they aren't going to commit too far. They are still behind, so they've got to be careful about which fights they take. Boom Esports, well, in 30 seconds, they're going to have the Ravage up. They already have the Fiend's Grip up on Kezcute. And you're basically just waiting for Ravage and Haunt to be up on Boom Esports, and then you can just go again with the smoke. Kezcute's already bought one out.
Yeah, it's just a matter of patience. Still, TNC is going to be pleased with finding kill in Mikado, so they're slowing down the Wind Ranger a bit more. It is coming into play, that tactic of holding Mikado down. He is going to have the MKB at a good time, though. I believe he's just lacking about 1,000 gold off. Once you've got this on the Wind Ranger, of course, the damage starts to shoot up a ton more. I have to say, though, you are seeing more durability coming out here from TNC. I'm surprised they have double Urn. March has to Urn, and Armel does as well, so we'll see how much value he can get from those charges. I suppose if March finds some kills, it would be good, although.
On 10, they just wanted the vision for the smoke. Haunt's gone now. That may make it somewhat obvious that they are smoking up. Hims is dying a Dreamer Soul solo right now. He might need some help, but does get some disarm still in the Radiant Triangle. Kezcute gonna get the Fiend's Grip off, and there's nothing to cancel it. KP, all he can do is attack. So the Ravage is gonna come out now from the Tidehunter. FBZ does get it off, and KP gonna go down and March for some reason. False promised himself. I believe he was trying to rush to False Promise Gabby, and probably double clicked it, and that means it would self-cast. So a bit of an error there from March. But another 2 kills to go for Boom Esports. And John, they're just going to do that over and over again every time those ultis are up.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. They've been on point with it. They've not been punished in the downtime too much. Like every time those spells are down, TNC tries to go for mid. They haven't even found a tower yet. So you've got to choose your targets better here for TNC. The big issue they have is they don't have a smooth initiation. They can maybe catch one out with the X, follow up with the Rolling Thunder, the X, Torrent boat combo as well. But you don't have anything as simplistic as a Ravage for wider AoE control to set up for yourself, or even something as simple as the Arrow Nightmare, Arrow Fiend's Grip, which has been really effective for Boom. I think TNC, they're waiting for a couple of core items to be up. They're waiting for BKBs on Gabby and Armel. I believe KP, yeah, he does have his mech up. So they've got Sustain on the Viper. They are rushing into the Ags in that hero as well. But if you wait out those BKBs, it's going to be a while. The farm has not been as high as you'd want it to be on the course of TNC and Boom. Every time you just sit back and try to match their farm, they have a better time because of the Spectre Midas. It's just so much more efficient for Dreamocell.
There is still going to be a power spike out from TNC for sure, though. We have to watch out for that one, but Gabby's going to go for the BKB, like you pointed out, so that means he's going to have a delayed Aghanim Scepter. I don't know if they're running out of time here, John. You're still up against the Spectre late game. He's going to have the Manta up any moment now. Like, he's 1.2k gold off, but he's got a Midas. It's going to be like a minute before he has it up.
Yeah. It's a scary prospect, I think. You're also looking at the BKB for Mikado coming at next, so that's going to line up perfectly with when TNC picks up their own BKBs. FBZ, for his part, has the room now to itemize towards a halberd and then straight into a refresh. I love this build. It kind of reminds me of the Bach Enigma. He also went for that blink build for the black hole, just going for the fighting build. And it's a bit effective on these team fighting heroes. I love seeing it coming out from FBZ. They've been playing around that timing perfectly. The disarm is just going to cause so many issues down the line for Gabby once it's up. That's something they've got to be pretty careful about as well. I mean, we were talking about in the draft how March loves to stack up for TNC. I mean, there were stacks. The issue is you've got 3 heroes playing there. It's only so much you can stack as one, especially as the Oracle. It's not like you're a Venge or a support Wind Ranger who can, kind of stack multiple camps at the same time. It's a lot harder for the Oracle to get that done. And they're kind of farm starved here, TNC. So the power spikes aren't lining up. The item spikes are going to be a bit awkward considering when Boom is also going to pick up some BKBs on their end. And they've got a lot to overcome. If they can land a perfect team fight with Armel and with Tims to follow up, Gabby can just dish the damage down. They need to get the perfect initiation there. They cannot afford to counterfight. Boom just has so much control off the bat that you're going to be at the numbers disadvantage if you allow them to make the first move.
Absolutely. They really are desperate to get that tier 1 mid tower and slow down Dreamer Soul's farm. So TNC are going to posture around that tier 1 again, and they know there's no Ravage, they know there's no Fiend's Grip. So it is very hard for them to defend on Boom Esports side. You do have Makoto now with an MKB, however, so the damage output is really getting there, but Boom being caught out here. Hyde, he's going to go for a Yules, but the boat is still going to connect perfectly from Armel. Tims will search for a bit more. Does lose his courier in the process, however. Won't matter too much, though. They do get that tier 1 mid tower, and now TNC can get a bit more aggressive. But, Boom, they want to fight. Kezcute does come in for a Nightmare. Didn't know about that one, though. There's an X-Out and a Viper Strike from KB, and that'll be Kezcute gone. Boom, that's a bit preemptive. Not waiting for those ultimates to be up.
Yeah, they're sort of streaming in 1v1. They have to be careful about that. If you do want to posture around, you'll need to play as at least 3 together. So you need the Bane and the Mirana along with Wind Ranger. Tide really won't contribute much without a Ravage. You've got to step back in that one. So TNC, good use of that aggression. They've got some really nice forward wards now, Mike. They can watch this jungle, watch the farm for the Spectre, maybe even punish down the line. It's still a 4K lead for Boom, though. And again, they're waiting on certain ults. They do have Haunt ready, and Ravage is just about 10 seconds off, so it might be time.
Probably is about that time, John. They need a smoke, though, but they're going to just run in. They don't seem to have a smoke on them at the moment. TNC. See a Moonlight Shadow coming out now from the Mirana, so they're going to use that instead. Into that mid lane, Kezcute wants a good Fiend's Grip target here. TNC, however, seem to be very wary of what's going on. That would be the fact that the top lane is being pushed in and no one's farming it. So it's very obvious they're trying to gank. That tier 1 mid tower, though, still going to be under siege now from Boom. Just going to try and even out this map control a bit. Armel does activate the double damage he had bottled up. Wants to go for the fight, so he'll go for an X-Out onto FBZ, but he just blinks out of there. There was no damage from Dream Missile. Gonna come in, Tims will get the false promise out from March. But now, what a shackle out from Makoto. He's caught 2 of them. March is gonna go down. Tims, he's rolling through, but it may not be great, as Makoto has so much damage with that MKB. He just needs to run. That'll be your tier 1 mid gone, and they still have those ultimates. Boom Esports, they still want to go for a fight. They just need to catch someone else. So Hyde, he's on the run, trying to see if he can spot somebody, but they only get a Tim's illusion. That'll mean the rest of TNC is able to get out of there, but oh, look at Kezcute, John. Hunting down Armel. He has the Fiend's Grip Armel. He's going for that farm, and Kezcute should be able to go for the easiest Fiend's Grip of his life. With the Nightmare setup. Just waiting for his teammates. Will commit the Fiend's Grip. There's a TP in from March. He's going to try and help Armel out, but it's not looking great as the Ravage does come in now from FBZ. He will make sure they cannot fight back. And that is going to give Boom Esports a 7k net worth lead at 19.5 minutes. And a Roshan for that matter.
They're really just clinical, Boom. They're not taking too much risk. They're playing around the timings perfectly. They understand what objectives to go for next. It's really actually quite amazing to watch. I mean, consider the Boom we saw a few months ago. You know, sometimes they make some odd mistakes, sometimes they overreach, but it's been so much more disciplined true to groups, and in this playoffs game 1, it's rather impressive. 7K lead now. We talked about their draft being constrained by these team fight cooldowns. TNC has not been able to fight against that. Like, they are just, when those spells are down, they just farm up in Gabby. They don't get to go out for kill opportunities. So their Sven is just constantly running around the jungle. The BKBs will be up soon, though. I believe Gabby's just about 400 gold. Armel is switching up his build. He's actually rushing the Halberd onto Kunkka. So you're only going to have Gabby with an early BKB. That should allow our Sven to start fighting, though. And I'm pleased to say, Mike, March did sell his urn a while ago. So there are no 2 urns anymore. It's a Spirit Vessel for Armel and no urn for March. That's a bit of an oopsie, but it's been corrected.
That's good news. Still very tough for TNC. Like, I know you pointed out the BKBs on its way for Gabby, but I do believe he's going to need that Aghanim Scepter before he can really fight. Do you see Gabby? He just gets kited every team fight. It's just... You can't catch anyone from Boom Esports without the Ags. And even if you have the BKB, Makoto's still going to be able to focus fire through it. So it's still, to me, a bit problematic until the Ags is up, so you can at least close the gap, get some dispels off, and working out that way. Still TNC, they're going to try for that top tier 2 tower now. Or maybe not. They back off.
Ooh. Speaking of those BKBs, Mike, Dream Assault's got one in. So our Spectre's going to be a lot harder to focus down in these fights. And you have to remember, like, you talked about the BKB not stopping focus fire. It's not going to stop Fiend Script. You're still going to get some control out of Kezcutus patient enough. I think TNC has to be a bit cautious about these BKBs flying in for Boom as well. They're going to have to face against 2. Mikato is really close to his as well, about 600 gold off. That should line up with the next team fight Boom will want to take as their spells are up. So expect that to be relatively soon. Just waiting for Mikato to be ready. Then you'll have to square off against 2 BKBs here.
AP, top lane, going to TP away from Dream Assault. I do love the fact that FBZ has that Heaven's Halberd up for Gabby, so even with that BKB, you get the Halberd off first, and it's not really going to matter too much if you BKB afterwards. Guess March could probably dispel it anyway, but...
Tim?
Lane. Who have they caught out there? It's Tims. Yeah, Tims is definitely going down. The rest of his team were smoked up at that top lane, trying to find maybe Dream Assault on the Spectre, but they're not going to get lucky with that, and instead they are forced to TP mid and make sure the tier 2 mid tower does stay defended at TNC's end. Mel trying to go for an X onto Dream Assault, does not manage to get it. And the side of Boom, they're just going to go down to the bot lane instead and get the easier tier 2 tower.
Yeah, it's a smart play here for Boom, just again being very conservative. They do have Ravage up along with a Fiend Script. They could actually force a fight out, and they have that BKB on Mikato. So it lines up perfectly. They still hold the Aegis for about a minute and a half. They're just going to take their time, be a bit more patient. That does give TNC their own timing to farm up. Gabby's at 1.7k in the bank. So he's saving up for the Ags now, as you mentioned. Help them gap close. We'll see if it's going to come out in a timely manner. We're seeing some progress here for KP as well. Did go for the 4-staff first, so the Ags has been delayed a bit for our Viper. It is going to come out at some point. I have to say, though, the level discrepancy between KP and FBZ is a bit worrying, Mike. Like, KP's at level 12, FBZ's at 15. That's a 3-level gap.
Well, he went to the jungle, so, I mean, that's what happens when you go to the jungle instead of hitting creeps in the lane. It's, I know he was struggling early on against the tri lane, which is absolutely fair enough, because March TP'd bot to help out Gabby instead. Then you were up against a tri lane as a dual lane. It's Pango Vipers, not the greatest dual lane in the world by themselves. It's just a bit of a mishap in that early game, and this is the domino effect, right? Like, later on, you're going to have the Spectre to worry about, you're going to have Makoto on the Wind Ranger to worry about. There's just too many things to worry about later on for the side of TNC that they couldn't really afford the bad start. So we'll see how they try to make it work now, though. Like, the game's not over by any stretch. One good team fight could turn the whole game around. But again, I can't stress enough that Gabby's going to at least need this Aghanim Scepter up to be able to fight on the Sven. And he might not have a chance to get it anytime soon because Makoto's coming in with a great shackles out on the Viper. How is that fair? What kind of range is that? Tim's is going to roll in with the Rolling Thunder now, but it's too late.
Yeah,
I didn't know it could be that long, John.
It's Wind Ranger, you know, sometimes it just turns itself on, and that is just an insane shackle. So Mikado going to be happy. They get a free tier 1 up top, so free gold, free control. The Aegis only has about half a minute, though. Mikado has to be slightly cautious about being forward. Might get caught out in a bad spot. TNC, if they track that Roche well, should know the Aegis is about to expire. They might not be confident fighting into Ravage, though, and we are going to have Haunt in about 20 seconds as well. So the teamfight spots are going to be up once more for Boom. Remember, they didn't even expend the Ravage last time, and they do smoke up.
They do. They don't have the Haunt, but it is going to be there in 10 seconds. They should have it up in time if they do get the team fight started. It's going to wrap around. Aegis is going to expire, but they found Armel. Shackles, however, not going to latch. And that'll ruin the smoke for Boom, but they're still going to try. FBZ has an Arcane Rune active for another 5 seconds or so. He wants to get that Ravage on cooldown. Can he get it off in time? FBZ does pop it in time. And they are going to go in now. Makoto getting a double shackles off onto KB and onto Gabby. But now the BKBs come out. They're going to try and fight this one out. Dreamer Cell just following down March. They've also lost Tims. They're still trying, but it has looked really bad as Gabby got Fiend's Grip. It is going to be cancelled, however. He continues, but now the shackle is out. Without that BKB, he just can't continue. KP's the only one left there with Armel. KP's dead to Dreamer Cell and Armel now. The lone survivor. He's going to try and run, but there's just no chance in hell. They're going to follow him up. He'll disarm. He'll buy as much time as possible. But they are gone. Like I said, John, Aghanim Scepter on Gabby or no team fight.
Yeah, it's not paying off. He popped his BKB early, and it wasn't enough. I mean, the Fiend script came out. You saw how long KSQ managed to channel it. He dies in the end, but it's very worthwhile considering the course they locked in. And that was Boom walking up. Like, TNC knew. They had a sentry ward on that ramp. They saw FBZ. They were trying, at least March pulled himself back, but the rest of TNC was still too clumped up. They need to respect that Ravage.
They do.
And speaking of that Ravage FBZ, man, he is saving up for that refresh. He's at 2.7 in the bank. It's not too far off. Once you've got that double Ravage, that is just so much scarier for TNC to fight into.
Well, John, speaking of that Ravage, he has it back up in 15 seconds. He got it just a second before that Arcane Rune was about to wear off. He got the Ravage off.
Ooh.
So it was a very short cooldown. And now he's going to have another one, and I don't think TNC is going to be expecting another one to be up this early. It could be very problematic if FBZ does want to start another team fight. Now, they probably won't because they already have the Haunt on cooldown for another 25 seconds. But once the Haunt's up, you imagine they just go again.
Yeah, it's a simple process now for Boom. I mean, they maintain a 19k lead. Dream Cell is clearly in the driver's seat as the core now. His might is definitely paying dividends. 18k. Gabby's the closest one from TNC. He's at 13. That's a 5k deficit at 27 minutes. And as a Sven, this guy's supposed to clear out stacks like it's no one's business. And it's still not matching up. It's just you've given the Spectre so much space. TNC, they've been playing really defensive. I think when this Ags comes out for Gabby, you cannot be defensive anymore. You have to be the ones forcing the fights out. You have to punish Boom when Ravage, when Haunt is down. But they still have to wait for those items. So it's going to be a while longer. Boom will probably have another team fight on hand before the Ags comes in. As all their spells are up, and you can see they just buy another smoke. They're going to just wait, maybe shove out the lanes out a bit and start to clump up and look for another kill.
Gabby's 1.2k away from that Ags. So if they can get the gank going right now, it'd be very, very effective for them. Mind you, even with the Ags up, it's not like it's a guaranteed win for them or anything. It's still pretty bad in general, being 19k net worth behind. It's just gives you a bit of a better chance of Gabby not getting kited like that. So he can actually hit people. It's still probably going to be a loss in the team fight, though, with a 20k disadvantage. Which is what we have right now. And what's Dota Plus saying? It was at 100% a second ago, John. It's at 99% now, and I can't disagree. The game does look to be pretty over. I think TNC could pull it back with a good team fight or two, but it is looking really tough.
Yeah, it's a harder time for them to bounce back, and I think you have to expect Boom to make some mistakes here as well for that to happen. And well, they don't find anyone with this Moonlight, so TNC does get their timing right to pull back at least. They've got Gabby on the opposite side of the map just playing Pharma, but you're at the point where even Kescute, and did we point this out, Mike? He's got Aether Lens and the telescope,
Yeah,
and the blink
dream.
on the. Oh man, it's
Bane
sickening.
dream, dude.
He doesn't have the 15 yet, so it's gonna be worse.
Yeah.
Once he hits that level 15 spike.
Oh, it's the dream, John. When you find a telescope and you're level 15 and you have an Aether Lens, you should watch the cast range on Kescute now. He can sit from across the map if he wants to and just Fiends grip people. It's going to be hilarious to watch. In fact, they're going to do it right now. Armel going to get daggered up, be slowed up. Hyde will get the Yules off. They can't afford for Armel to die like this, so they need to take the team fight right now. They'll go for the false promise, but Makoto in with the shackles, in with the Ravage. It's looking really bad. They'll try to use that axe on Gabby to try and fight this one out with the bow down from Armel, but Makoto, the Fiend's grip. Where's our pain? Across. It's just not good enough from TNC. Gabby's going to die. Gabby's, or rather KB's in trouble. He's also going down. Makoto's going further in. He wants Tim's. He will get him. Armel, the only one left, trying to run to the fountain. He is going to make it.
Oh, dives.
The game's over. The game's straight up over, John.
Oh man, that was the axe reveal, Mike. Yeah, it's not doing it. It's just not enough. Because you're forced to respond to the Ravage, but Kescute, a mile away, like you said, you can't stop it. It's just a feed script.
He wasn't even at match range. He was like at half the range.
No.
He was just chilling out.
I mean, they're going to try to defend. There's no Ravage, there's no Haunt, but the prospects are so slim. I think TNC, they've got to be very disciplined and have to be very cautious with this defense now.
Well, Dota Plus has given up, John. Very, very hard ask of TNC against the Aegis and Cheese. Kodo, get X'd up. Torrent, no, great Nightmare dodge from Kescute. He dodges the Torrent. Beautiful play out from Kescute on the Bane this game, John. And, well, 26k net worth lead for the side of Boom Esports. It's only getting bigger and bigger, this gap. TNC, they're going to try and hold out and maybe get to the point where you've got Rapiers coming up. At that point, perhaps you could do it.
Yeah, maybe. I think right now this build-up for Gabby is pretty smart, though. He's trying to go Satanic for the status resist. Having the Fiend's Grip not hold you for as long could help out massively. I think that's they're gonna have to wait for that one next. I don't think you want to force a fight out without any big item reveal. You're just gonna have to play really passively, really safe, avoid Boom Esports at all costs, and just try to get as much as possible in this downtime. Now, there's not gonna be much downtime, to be fair. Haunt is back up, Ravage is up in 10. Gonna be a hard one.
The TNC can't wait either, though. They need to get the jump. This could be the last team fight they try for, as they know how far behind they are right now. Kodo, oh, he's already found Tim's. They got the shackles again. Tim's was invis, I'm pretty sure, wasn't he?
Not
yeah, he was. He
100%.
was glimmer caping.
Oh. Not good. You're at a numbers disadvantage now. You do have a buyback, but you know, you said they were trying to hunt, and because of that, you're just kind of forced to play in the triangle, get some farm up, and concede some ground. They're gonna have to TP back to the base as soon as Ravage is up, Haunt is up. They're gonna go for another set of racks here.
Luckily for them, Makoto's not going to have the full Daedalus up before this starts. So he's 100 gold off that full Daedalus. Might just get the courier to bring it out for him. He might actually have it in time for the team fight. Tim's going to respawn up in 5. Kodo going to back off now with the rest of his team. Daedalus on the way for him. Makoto's been really unstoppable in this win range, I got to tell you. It's kind of unbelievable how he's getting these shackles off. Mel, oh, he's been nightmared. Keski's got the Fiend's Grip, but he wants
Oh,
Gabby
God.
with that Fiend's Grip, but a great Shackles out. They go in. Look at the damage out. They try to save Mel, but it's just no good. He'll buy back. Tims is rolling through the team fight, trying to buy more time for them to get their heroes in. Now with Gabby, he's been Fiend's Grip. He almost got Makoto. They'll get the Aegis. The boat will fly out onto the Bane, so they might just get one here. They know the Nightmare is out from the Bane. He'll survive with the Brain Sap now, but Armel and Tims will chase him down and take him up. But Dreamer Cell, he's not done with this team fight yet. He still has the cheese. He'll get the tie back onto Armel. That's going to be it for now. A 1-for-1. Focus Fire is there from Makoto. If it was maybe onto Gabby there, but he does get out with the 4-star from Tims will march.
Oh.
Stormhammer gonna land on one. He will get on the Piranha, no. But he's been disarmed. Straight off the bat, he gets disarmed by FBZ. And that's it, they call it. They've had enough. I'll tell you what, John. I think the one mistake that made this game hard for TNC was the fact that they did rotate March.
Yeah, that as well. Like, they didn't hold the tri lane, so the level 1 Nether Toxin didn't pay off because you didn't have the root. And it fell apart. The KP was forced to build into that Nether Toxin, gave a free lane to Dreamocell. It's a Spectre that went 9-0-12, Mike. It's an insane runaway start for Dreamocell. TNC, I think they had some ideas there. You know, they had this Gabby, Sven, they had the March Oracle, just didn't line up. Even the Armel Kunkka couldn't do as much work. They had their picks. They just need to execute. Boom. Looking fantastic today. Woke up on the right side. We'll see if they can take it 2-0. TNC, they need to step up to the plate if they want to stay in that upper bracket.
That they do. With that, we'll be back in 10 minutes for game number 2 of this upper bracket playoff round of 1. We'll see you soon.